Today is Tuesday, March 23. My name is Pastor Anthony, and this is Wilderness Wanderings. Today our text comes from 1 Corinthians 1. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God chose the lowly things of this world and the despised things and the things that are not to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him. It is because of him that you are in Christ Jesus, who has become for us the wisdom from God, that is, our righteousness, holiness, and redemption. Therefore, as it is written, let the one who boasts, boast in the Lord. 1 Corinthians 1, verses 27 to 31. Now maybe it's too early to be writing this devotion, but with a warm sunny day outside, I can't help but think ahead. Early on in this pandemic, there was a mad scramble to get ahead of the curve, to think through what the next weeks or months would require of us, and to act on it. We looked for wise experts who could tell us what was coming. Now spring is here, a year later in 2021, and I'm thinking ahead again. It was one thing to pivot into the pandemic. It'll be another to pivot out of it. Sure, the end is still a long way off yet, and will probably happen more gradually than suddenly, but it will eventually come. And when it does, we'll again have to make decisions in our lives about when to re-engage with things like social activities, and which ones. When to do something in person rather than online. Eventually, we'll even have to decide as a society when it's time to rescind the mask mandate. As a church, we'll also have to think about pews and tables, worship services, youth and children's programs and ministries, meetings, technology, these Wilderness Wanderings devotions, and much more. All things that have shifted during the pandemic. We'll be tempted to take the shortest path back to normal. But actually, there never really was such a thing as normal. Our lives are changing constantly, as any healthy living thing does. If you don't believe me, just wait until you see families reappear in church with toddlers in tow that didn't exist this time last year. The church we left is not the church we're coming back to. In the last year, our church has changed. Our lives have changed. Our world has changed. Our own ideas of normal themselves have changed. Though none of us are quite sure how just yet. And so again, we'll be looking for wisdom to help inform our pivoting out of this pandemic as we once again head into an unknown future. But what kind of wisdom will we look for? The kind that will help us to be the strongest, the best, or the most secure people in church that we can be? That likely wouldn't be far from the truth of what we really desire. But Paul reminds us here today, from 1 Corinthians, that our hope is not in the strong things, or in going back to the normal things, the things that were, or even the most sure and secure things that already are. No, our hope is in Christ. And the invitation is to become fools in the eyes of everyone else as we entrust ourselves and our plans to this God who has brought about our righteousness, holiness, and redemption already, and who isn't finished with us yet. He continues to move, doing new things, and he beckons us to follow, stepping into things unseen, things that are not, so that in the end, all the glory and boasting go to him. Now as you journey on into that future and with that God, go with his blessing. May the peace of the Lord Christ go with you, wherever he may send you. May he guide you through this wilderness, protect you through the storm. May he bring you home rejoicing at the wonders he has shown you, and may he bring you home rejoicing once again into our doors.